Listen, y'all, I got to tell you something that will change your life. And if you hear me out, really hear me out, you might just walk out of here today with a whole new mindset. See, a lot of people are just existing, waking up, going to work, paying bills, sitting on the couch, scrolling through their phone, then going to bed just to do it all over again. And you wonder why life ain't moving the way you want it to. Let me tell you something. If you don't have a goal, you are just wandering. And life don't reward wanderers. Life rewards people who get up every day and move towards something. Now, I know some of y'all are thinking, well, I don't know what I want to do. That's okay, but you better start figuring it out. Because if you don't set your own goal, life will set one for you. And I promise, it won't be the one you like. Step one, write it down. The first thing you got to do, write that goal down. Not just think about it, not just talk about it. Write it down. If your dream stays in your head, it's just a fantasy. But when you put it on paper, it becomes a plan. And don't just write down some small, safe goal. No, dream big. Dream so big it scares you a little. Because if your goal don't make you a little nervous, you ain't dreaming big enough. Step two, speak it out loud. Once you got that goal written down, you need to speak it into existence. I mean, tell yourself, tell your friends, the right ones, tell God, tell the universe, because the more you say it, the more real it becomes. See, your words got power. If you keep saying, I ain't never gonna make it, then guess what? You won't. But if you start saying, I'm gonna own that business, or I'm gonna get out of debt, or I'm gonna get that degree, then you start moving in the direction of that goal. Step three, put in the work now. Let's be real. You can't just write it down and speak it. You gotta put in the work. A goal without action is just a wish. You wanna lose weight? Put down the fried food and get to the gym. You wanna start a business? Stop making excuses and start making moves. You wanna be successful? Stop watching everybody else's success and start building your own. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to happen overnight. But I promise you this. If you stay consistent, if you stay focused, if you don't quit when it gets hard, one day you're going to wake up and realize you made it. Closing, listen to me. You were not put on this earth just to survive. You were put here to thrive. You got a gift inside of you, a purpose, a destiny, but it all starts with setting a goal. So do yourself a favor. Stop just existing and start setting your goals. Because the moment you do, life starts moving for you instead of happening to you. Now go get, if you don't have a goal, you are just wandering. A lot of people wake up every day with no real plan, no direction, just going through the motions. They get out of bed, go to work, come home, watch TV, scroll through their phone, maybe hang out with some friends, then go to sleep and do it all over again the next day. Days turn into weeks, weeks turn into months, and before they know it, years have gone by and nothing has changed. This is what happens when you don't have a goal. You are just existing, not living. See, life is moving, whether you are ready or not. The world is turning, time is passing, and things are happening all around you. But if you don't have a goal, you are just letting life happen to you. Instead of making life happen for you, that's why some people feel stuck, frustrated, and lost. It's not because they're not capable, not because they don't have potential, but because they're not aiming at anything. Think about a GPS. If you get in your car and just start driving without putting a destination in the GPS, you're going to end up anywhere. You might take some nice roads, see some interesting sights, but at the end of the day, you don't know where you're going, and you don't know when you'll get there. That's how a lot of people are living their lives. They're just moving without purpose, without direction, just hoping they'll end up somewhere good. But hope is not a plan. You can't just hope you'll be successful. Hope you'll be happy. Hope you'll be financially free. You have to decide where you want to go and start taking the right steps to get there. The problem is a lot of people are afraid to set a goal. Not because they don't want a better life, but because setting a goal means committing to something. And commitment means responsibility. It means effort. It means sacrifice. Some people would rather stay comfortable in their routine, even if it's not making them happy, just because it's easier than pushing themselves towards something greater. They tell themselves, I don't know what I want, but deep down, they do. They just don't want to admit it, because once you admit it, you have to do something about it. And let's be real, there's also fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of disappointment. People think, what if I go after this goal and I don't make it? So instead of trying and risking failure, they do nothing and stay exactly where they are. But let me tell you something. Not having a goal is a guaranteed way to fail. Because when you don't set a goal, you have nothing to strive for, nothing to push yourself toward, nothing that gives your actions meaning. Look at successful people, whether in business, sports, entertainment, or any field. You will notice one thing they all have in common. They set goals. They didn't just stumble into success. They didn't just wake up one day and find themselves at the top. They had a vision. They knew what they wanted, and they went after it with everything they had. And let's be real, they faced challenges, setbacks, and failures. But because they had a goal, they kept pushing forward. They had something to aim for, something to keep them going when things got tough. Now, on the flip side, think about people who are always complaining about their situation. The ones who say, nothing ever works out for me, or life is so unfair. If you really listen, you'll notice that these are often the same people who don't have a clear goal. They're drifting, waiting for life to hand them something, waiting for the perfect opportunity to magically appear. But that's not how life works. If you're waiting for everything to be perfect before you start moving, you'll be waiting forever. You have to set a goal and start moving toward it, even if the path isn't clear yet. Some people get stuck because they think their goal has to be perfect. They think they need to have everything figured out before they start. But that's not true. Your first goal doesn't have to be your final goal. It doesn't even have to be the biggest goal you'll ever set. The important thing is to just have something to aim for. When you have a goal, even if it's small, it gives your actions purpose. It gives you a reason to wake up in the morning with energy and drive. It helps you make better decisions, because now, instead of just reacting to life, you're actively shaping your future. Let's say you set a goal to get in better shape. Suddenly, that goal starts influencing your choices. You start eating better, working out, drinking more water. You start thinking about your health in a way you never did before. That's the power of a goal. It shifts your focus. It changes your habits. It makes you more intentional. Now apply that same principle to your career, your finances, your relationships. Imagine setting a goal to start a business. You'll start researching, networking, learning new skills. Instead of just watching TV or scrolling on your phone, you'll be investing your time into something that moves you forward. Imagine setting a goal to improve your finances. You'll start budgeting, saving, looking for opportunities to grow your income. That's the difference between wandering and moving with purpose. And here's the thing, your goal doesn't have to be big to be meaningful. Some people think if they're not aiming to be a millionaire or a celebrity, then their goal isn't important. But that's not true. Your goal is personal to you. It could be getting out of debt, getting a promotion, learning a new skill, improving your relationships. Whatever it is, it matters because it gives your life direction. But if you don't set that goal, you'll just be drifting. And when you drift, you let other people and circumstances control your life. You end up doing what's convenient instead of what's meaningful. You end up following what other people expect of you instead of what you truly want for yourself. And before you know it, years go by and you're left wondering, how did I get here? Think about this. If you throw a dart with no target, where's it gonna land? Anywhere. And chances are it won't be where you wanted it to go. But if you have a target, if you know where you're aiming, now you have a chance to hit the mark. Even if you miss at first, you can adjust. You can keep trying, and eventually you'll get there. That's why setting a goal is so important. It's not just about achieving something, it's about giving your life a sense of purpose and direction. It's about making sure that when you look back years from now, you can say, I went after something. I made my life count. Because at the end of the day, you have two choices. Either you set a goal and start working toward it, or you let life push you around and take you wherever it wants. And trust me, life will take you places you don't want to go if you don't take control. Writing down your goals is one of the most powerful things you can do for your future. Too many people walk around with ideas in their heads, dreams in their hearts, and visions of a better life, but they never take the first step to make those things real. They think about success, they talk about what they want to do, they even get excited about it. But when it comes to actually putting it down on paper, they hesitate. And that hesitation is where dreams start to fade. Because if your goal is just floating around in your mind, it's not a goal, it's just a wish. And wishes don't come true by accident. The moment you write something down, you give it structure, you give it power, you turn it from an idea into a plan. There's something about putting a goal on paper that makes it real. It's like making a contract with yourself. You're saying, this is what I want, this is where I'm going, this is what I'm going to achieve. And when you do that, something shifts inside of you. Your brain starts to recognize it as something that needs to happen, not just something you hope might happen. Most people don't realize that the simple act of writing down a goal increases the likelihood of achieving it. Studies have shown that people who write down their goals are far more successful than those who don't. Why? Because writing it down forces clarity. It makes you get specific. It makes you define exactly what you want. A goal that isn't clear is a goal that will never be reached. If you just say, I want to be rich, what does that even mean? How much money do you need? By when? What's your plan to get there? If you say, I want to get in shape, what does that look like? How much weight do you want to lose? How many times a week are you going to work out? When you write things down, you start answering those questions, and those answers lead to action. Writing down your goals also keeps them in front of you. Life is busy, distractions are everywhere. It's easy to lose focus. But when you have your goal written down on a piece of paper, in a notebook, on a vision board, somewhere you can see it, you give yourself a constant reminder of what you're working toward. It keeps you accountable. It keeps you from forgetting why you started in the first place. Think about how businesses operate. Every successful company has a written plan. They have quarterly goals, yearly goals, 5-year plans. They don't just say, let's try to make money and see what happens. No, they sit down and map out exactly what they want to achieve. They know how much revenue they want to generate, how many customers they need, how they're going to grow, how they are going to, and because they have a plan, they can measure their progress. They can make adjustments. They can see what's working and what's not. Now, if businesses operate that way to be successful, why wouldn't you apply the same principle to your own life? Writing down your goals also programs your brain to start looking for opportunities. When you clearly define what you want, your mind starts to notice things that can help you get there. It's like when you buy a new car and suddenly you see that same car everywhere. It was always there, but now your mind is paying attention to it. That's how it works with goals. When you write down that you want to start a business, suddenly you start noticing business opportunities. When you write down that you want to meet the right people, suddenly you start connecting with people who can help you. Your brain starts filtering out distractions and zoning in on the things that align with what you want. Another powerful thing about writing down goals is that it creates commitment. There's a difference between saying, I should do this, and saying, I will do this. When you write it down, you're making a decision. You're no longer just thinking about it, you're claiming it. And that commitment leads to action. A lot of people have great ideas but never follow through because they never make that mental shift from thinking to doing. Writing it down is the bridge between the two. There's also something special about physically writing down your goal versus just typing it into your phone or computer. When you write with your hand, your brain processes it differently. It's more personal. It's more intentional. It's like engraving it into your mind. That's why successful people keep journals, planners, notebooks full of their goals. They understand that putting pen to paper is an act of creation. It's bringing something out of your imagination and into reality. A written goal also serves as a checkpoint. When life gets tough, and it will, you can go back and read what you wrote. It reminds you why you started. It keeps you from giving up too soon. Because let's be honest, there will be moments when you feel discouraged. There will be setbacks. There will be days when you question if it's even possible. But when you have that goal in front of you, when you can see it in your own handwriting, it reignites that fire inside of you. It pushes you to keep going. And let's talk about fear. A lot of people avoid writing down their goals because it makes them feel vulnerable. It forces them to face their dreams head on. It makes them acknowledge what they really want. And sometimes that's scary because once you write it down, you can't pretend you don't want it. You can't hide behind excuses. You have to own it. But that's exactly why you need to do it, because fear is what keeps people stuck. Fear is what keeps people from taking action. But courage starts with a decision. And writing down your goal is the first step in making that decision. Another excuse people use is, I don't know exactly what I want. And that's okay. You don't have to have your whole life figured out, but you need to start somewhere. Write down something, anything, even if it's just a small step. Maybe you don't know what kind of business you want to start, but you know you want to be financially independent. Write that down. Maybe you don't know exactly what career path to take, but you know you want to be in a position where you're making a difference. Write that down. Clarity comes with action. The more you write, the clearer your goals become. A goal that is not written down is just an idea, and ideas disappear. Think about how many times you've had a great idea and a week later you couldn't even remember it. That's because ideas are fleeting. But when you write them down, they become permanent. They become something you can build on. So many people go through life waiting for the perfect time, the perfect opportunity, the perfect plan. But perfection is a lie. There is no perfect time. There is no perfect moment. The only thing you can control is whether you take action or not. And the first action you need to take is writing it down. Because once it's written, it's real. Once it's real, you can start working toward it. And once you start working toward it, everything begins to change. Speaking your goal into existence is one of the most powerful things you can do to bring it to life. Your words carry energy, and that energy shapes your reality. Too many people don't realize that what they say about themselves, their future, and their abilities has a direct impact on what actually happens. If you constantly tell yourself you're not good enough, that success is for other people, that you'll never get ahead, then guess what? That's exactly what will happen. But if you start speaking life over your dreams, if you start declaring success before it happens, if you start affirming your goals out loud every single day, you will begin to see real change. There is something about hearing your own voice say your goals that makes them more real. When you keep your dreams locked inside your head, they stay in the realm of imagination. But the moment you speak them out loud, they move from being just an idea to something that exists in the world. It's like a shift happens in your mind. Your goal stops being a vague thought and starts becoming something you expect to happen. You are reinforcing your belief in yourself every time you say it. People underestimate the power of words. Every time you say something, you are either building yourself up or tearing yourself down. Words are like seeds. You plant them in your mind and eventually they grow into reality. If you keep saying, I'll never be successful, that thought will take root and shape your actions. You won't try as hard. You won't take the right opportunities. You'll make excuses. But if you start saying, I am on my way to success, you start moving differently. You start looking for solutions instead of problems. You start believing in yourself in a way you never have before. It's not just about motivation. It's about wiring your brain for success. The subconscious mind is always listening. It doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's not. It just absorbs what you tell it. If you repeatedly say something, your brain starts treating it as truth, and it starts aligning your thoughts, decisions, and actions with that truth. That's why people who constantly speak negatively about themselves stay stuck. Their brain has accepted failure as their reality. But people who affirm success, even when they're not there yet, start moving in that direction because their subconscious mind is already acting like it's true. Speaking your goals into existence also builds confidence. The more you say it, the more you believe it. And confidence is key to achieving anything. Think about athletes. Before they even step onto the field or the court, they are already speaking victory. They say, I'm going to win this game, I'm going to break this record, I'm going to dominate. And because they say it with conviction, they step into the game with a winning mindset. It's not arrogance, it's preparation. They are mentally putting themselves in the position to win before they even begin. You have to do the same thing with your goals. If you want to start a business, don't say, I hope one day I can start my own business. Say, I am a successful business owner. If you want to be financially free, don't say, I wish I could get out of debt. Say, I am financially free and I make smart financial decisions. You have to speak as if it's already happening. You're not lying to yourself. You're programming your mind to believe in what's possible. The mistake a lot of people make is they only speak positively when they feel good. When they're motivated, they'll say, I'm going to make it, I'm going to win. But the moment things get tough, they start speaking defeat. Maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. What if I fail? That kind of thinking is what stops most people. You have to keep speaking your goal into existence even when things aren't going your way. Especially then, because the words you say during tough times determine whether you keep going or give up. Another powerful thing about speaking your goal out loud is that it keeps you accountable. When you tell other people your goal, you are making a declaration. You are putting it out into the world, and now there is an expectation tied to it. This is why some people are afraid to say their goals out loud. They don't want to feel embarrassed if they don't succeed. But that's just fear talking. If you are serious about achieving something, you shouldn't be afraid to say it. Speaking it out loud makes it more real, and the more real it is, the more likely you are to take action. When you speak your goal often enough, it also starts attracting the right people and opportunities into your life. Have you ever noticed that when you talk about something you want to do, you suddenly meet people who can help you? That's not a coincidence. When you keep your goals to yourself, no one can support you, guide you, or connect you with the right resources. But when you start talking about what you want, doors start opening. You might mention your business idea to someone and they introduce you to an investor. You might share your goal of getting fit and someone offers to be your workout partner. Speaking your goal into existence puts you in alignment with the people and resources you need to succeed. Some people hesitate to speak their goals because they don't want to sound unrealistic. They worry about what others will think. They don't want to say, I'm going to be successful because they're afraid people will laugh or doubt them. But let me tell you something. Nobody else's opinion matters when it comes to your future. The only thing that matters is what you believe about yourself. And belief starts with what you say. If you wait for others to believe in your dream before you do, you'll never get started. You have to be your own biggest supporter. There's a reason why successful people use affirmations. They wake up every day and say things like, I am powerful, I am successful, I attract wealth and opportunity. It's not because they're trying to trick themselves, It's because they understand that their words shape their reality. They are reinforcing their mindset so that they stay focused, confident, and resilient. Think about how many times in your life you've said something negative about yourself. How many times have you said, I'm not smart enough. I don't have what it takes. I'll never be as successful as them. Imagine if, instead of saying those things, you had been saying, I am capable. I am unstoppable. I am creating an incredible life. Imagine how different your life might be right now if you had been speaking success over yourself every single day. Your words create momentum. Every time you say, I'm going to make it, you are adding energy to that goal. Every time you say, I'm built for this, you are reinforcing your belief. Every time you say, I will not quit, you are strength. If you stop speaking your goals, you stop believing in them. And if you stop believing in them, you stop working toward them. Speaking your goal into existence is not just about motivation, it's about commitment. It's about declaring to yourself and the world that you are serious about your future. It's about rewiring your brain to expect success instead of doubt. It's about putting yourself in the right mindset to take action every single day. It's about making your dreams so real in your mind that it becomes impossible not to achieve it. Taking action on your goals is the difference between success and staying stuck in the same place. Too many people spend their lives waiting for the perfect time, the right opportunity, the best circumstances. They keep saying, I'll start when I have more money, I'll go for it when I feel ready, or I'll make my move when the time is right. But the truth is, there is no perfect time. There is no magic moment when everything aligns just right. If you sit around waiting for that, you'll be waiting forever. The only way to make progress is to take action. Imperfect, messy, uncomfortable action. A lot of people confuse planning with progress. They think because they're researching, making lists, and talking about their goals, they're doing something. But none of that means anything without action. You can read all the books, watch all the motivational videos, listen to all the podcasts, but if you don't take that first step, nothing will change. Knowledge without action is useless. You don't need another plan. You don't need more information. You need to start. Fear is what holds most people back. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of making mistakes. But let me tell you something. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of success. Every successful person you admire has failed more times than you can imagine. The difference is they didn't let failure stop them. They learned from it, adjusted, and kept going. If you're afraid of failing, that means you're afraid of growing. Because growth comes from doing things that are uncomfortable, from stepping into the unknown, from making mistakes and learning from them. The biggest mistake you can make is thinking you need to have everything figured out before you start. You don't. Nobody who is successful knew exactly what they were doing when they began. They just started. They took action, and along the way, they figured it out. You're not supposed to know all the answers right now. That's part of the journey. The important thing is to start moving. Even small steps count. Momentum is everything when it comes to achieving your goals. The first step is always the hardest, but once you take it, the next one becomes easier. And then the next one. Action creates momentum, and momentum creates success. But if you never take that first step, you stay stuck. You stay in the same place, wishing and hoping for something to change, but nothing ever does. You have to break that cycle by moving, by doing something, by forcing yourself to take action even when you don't feel like it. A lot of people wait for motivation before they start. They think they need to feel inspired or excited before they take action, but that's not how it works. Action comes first. Motivation comes second. You don't wake up every day feeling excited to go to the gym, but once you start working out, you feel good. You don't always feel like working on your business, but once you start making progress, you get excited. The mistake is thinking you have to feel ready before you move. You don't. You just have to move. and the motivation will follow. Taking action also builds confidence. The more you do, the more you believe in yourself. If you sit around doubting your abilities, overthinking everything, questioning whether you're good enough, you'll never build confidence. Confidence comes from action, from proving to yourself that you can do hard things, from seeing yourself make progress, even if it's slow. If you struggle with self-doubt, the best thing you can do is take action, because the more you do, the more you realize you are capable. Another thing that stops people from taking action is perfectionism. They think they need to have the perfect plan, the perfect idea, the perfect execution before they start. But perfection is an illusion. If you wait until everything is perfect, you'll never start. The truth is, your first attempt is probably going to be messy. Your first business idea might fail. Your first project might not be great. But that's okay, because the only way to get better is to start. The only way to improve is to do. Nobody starts off perfect. The people who succeed are the ones who are willing to start messy, make mistakes, and keep improving along the way. Discipline is what separates people who succeed from those who don't. Successful people don't rely on motivation. They rely on discipline. They take action even when they don't feel like it. They show up every day and do the work whether they're inspired or not. They don't make excuses. They don't wait until they feel like doing it. They just do it. And that's why they win. If you only take action when you're in the mood, you'll never get anywhere. You have to be disciplined. You have to push yourself even when you don't want to. That's how you make real progress. Taking action also forces you to face reality. When you sit around thinking about your goals, they feel exciting, they feel big. But when you start working on them, you quickly see what it really takes. That's why a lot of people don't start, because they don't want to face the work. They like the idea of success, but they don't want to go through the struggle. They want the result, but they don't want the process. But the process is what makes you. The struggle is what prepares you for success. If you're not willing to do the work, you don't really want it. Every single day you don't take action is a day you're pushing your goal further away. Think about that. Every time you say, I'll start tomorrow, you're giving away time that you'll never get back. 1 year from now, you're either going to be proud of the progress you made, or you're going to be in the exact same place wishing you had started. The choice is yours. Action is also the cure for fear. Fear only has power when you stand still. But when you start moving, fear starts shrinking. The things that seemed scary before don't seem so scary anymore because you're in motion. You're making progress. You're building experience. Fear loses its grip on you when you take action. But if you let fear keep you stuck, it only gets stronger. The people who succeed in life are not the smartest. They are not the most talented. They are not the luckiest. They are the ones who take action. They are the ones who try, fail, learn, and keep going. They don't wait for the perfect moment. They don't wait for permission. They don't wait until they feel like it. They just start. And that's why they win. The sooner you start taking action, the sooner you start seeing results. The sooner you start moving, the sooner you start growing. You don't need more time. You don't need more motivation. You don't need more planning. You just need to start. Because once you start, everything begins to change. Your environment plays a massive role in whether you succeed or stay stuck. The people you surround yourself with, the energy you absorb, and the influences you allow into your life all shape your mindset, your motivation, and ultimately your results. Too many people don't realize how much their surroundings are holding them back. They think they can stay in the same toxic environments, hang around the same negative people, listen to the same discouraging voices, and still expect to grow. But that's not how it works. If you want to elevate, you have to put yourself in an environment that pushes you to be better. Look at the people in your life. Are they encouraging you, supporting you, and challenging you to grow? Or are they doubting you, pulling you down, and feeding you negativity? Because the truth is, whether you realize it or not, you become like the people you spend the most time with. If you're constantly around people who complain, make excuses, and settle for less, that mindset will rub off on you. You might not even notice it happening, but over time, their attitude will start shaping yours. You'll start thinking smaller, doubting yourself more, and finding reasons why you can't instead of why you can. On the other hand, if you surround yourself with people who are ambitious, driven, and focused on success, that energy will lift you up. You'll start thinking bigger, believing in yourself more, and pushing harder for what you want. Being around the right people forces you to level up. It challenges you to grow because when you see others making moves, you realize that you can too. When you're around people who are constantly striving for more, you feel inspired to do the same. It's not just about friends and family, it's about everything you expose yourself to. The books you read, the content you consume, the conversations you have, all of it is shaping your mindset every single day. If you're constantly watching negative news, listening to gossip, and scrolling through social media, comparing yourself to others, that's affecting your energy. It's draining you. It's filling your mind with self-doubt and distraction instead of inspiration and focus. But if you're reading books that expand your knowledge, listening to motivational content, and having deep conversations that challenge your thinking, you're feeding your mind the right fuel. Your environment should push you toward your goals, not pull you away from them. If you want to be successful, you have to be intentional about the spaces you put yourself in. You need to be around people who make you uncomfortable in a good way. People who are doing more than you, who are achieving what you want to achieve, who make you feel like you need to step your game up. That discomfort is a sign of growth. If you're always the smartest, most ambitious, or most successful person in the room, you're in the wrong room. You need to be around people who make you stretch. A lot of people stay stuck because they are afraid to outgrow their environment. They feel guilty about moving on from old friends, distancing themselves from family members who don't support their vision, or leaving behind familiar places that no longer serve them. But you cannot let guilt keep you from growing. You are not responsible for staying in the same place just to make other people comfortable. If people truly care about you, they will support your growth. And if they don't, that just means they were never meant to go where you're headed. One of the hardest things about elevating is realizing that not everyone can come with you. Some people will resent your growth. They will try to make you feel bad for wanting more. They will say you've changed, that you're acting different, that you think you're better than them. But that's just their insecurity speaking. People who are comfortable in their own journey don't feel threatened by someone else's success. They celebrate it. If someone in your life is making you feel bad for chasing your goals, it's because they're afraid of being left behind. You have to be willing to let go of environments that are not aligned with your future. That might mean stepping away from toxic relationships, cutting out negative conversations, or even physically moving to a new place that better supports your vision. It's not easy, but it's necessary. You cannot expect to thrive in an environment that doesn't support growth. A plant cannot grow in bad soil. It doesn't matter how much potential it has. If the environment isn't right, it won't flourish. You are the same way. Sometimes changing your environment means finding new mentors, seeking out new communities, and putting yourself in rooms where people are already doing what you want to do. If you don't have successful people around you, go find them. Join groups, go to events, take courses, put yourself in places where you can learn from those who are ahead of you. The internet has made it easier than ever to connect with like-minded people. You don't have to settle for being surrounded by negativity just because that's what you've always known. Another key part of your environment is the space you create for yourself. If your physical environment is chaotic, disorganized, or full of distractions, that's going to affect your productivity. Your mind reflects your surroundings. If you want to focus, create a space that supports that. Declutter your workspace. Set up a routine that keeps you on track and eliminate distractions that pull you away from your goals. Treat your environment like a tool for success, because it is. Energy is contagious. If you're around people who are excited about life, who are focused, who are disciplined, that energy will rub off on you. You will feel more motivated, more driven, more inspired. But if you're around people who are negative, lazy, and full of excuses, that energy will pull you down. You will start feeling drained, discouraged, and unmotivated. Protect your energy by being intentional about who and what you allow into your life. The most successful people in the world didn't get there by accident. They created an environment that supported their growth. They surrounded themselves with the right people, consumed the right content, and put themselves in the right spaces. They eliminated negativity, avoided distractions, and made sure that everything around them was pushing them forward, not pulling them back. If you want to succeed, you have to do the same. You have to take control of your environment. You have to be ruthless about what you allow into your space. You have to make sure that everything and everyone around you is aligned with your vision. Because the truth is, no matter how talented or hardworking you are, if you stay in the wrong environment, it will hold you back. But if you put yourself in the right environment, it will elevate you in ways you never imagined.